Welcome to another episode of the Southern Boating Podcast. I'm Ian Sneed.
I'm James Anderson.
And today we're talking to you about Pursuit's DC306, a new dual console. We're talking about fuel.
Yes, we're
right?
going to talk about an article about fuel, your fuel filters, and the importance of monitoring them, what can happen, so on and so forth.
Especially if you're prone to crossing over to the Bahamas, because
the importance of making
how
sure on top of this.
It's a very important safety element. So we're going to cover that for you. And then we're going to finish up with, you know what I realized? We talk a lot about golf on our podcast.
Well, I mean, I spend a good time of my week playing golf. As much as I can, really.
But what blows my mind is like
work gets in the way of me playing golf.
That's not my fault. I try to make your life easy.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. Do I really? Yeah, absolutely. No, but it's just funny because how many times have we talked about golf? I mean, whatever. It's fair. You love golf, so we talk about golf.
Golf is a huge part of my life. So we are going to talk about one of my favorites, golfing in the Bahamas.
Yes.
It doesn't get any better.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because and nobody judged me for this. Okay,
I could say something really smart, but I'm not going to go there with you today.
Because the area of smart is just so foreign to you that you don't.
Well, I can't say the other word on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to be that guy.
Okay. Well, you could say it and I could bleep it out.
No, I don't even want to be that guy.
Okay. So, yes, golf. Don't judge me because I have not been a golfer. Don't judge me because I have not been a fisherman.
It just means he hasn't worked with me long enough.
Exactly. Well, actually, yeah, you're right. Anyway, let's get into the subject matter for today. And before we do, remember to subscribe to the channel.
Please.
It helps us when you subscribe. If you leave a comment with your thoughts, it goes a long way to helping us create content for you.
Plus, you'll get reminded by YouTube that we have a new episode.
Right.
It'll show up in your YouTube feed.
Exactly.
And we need that.
Right? Yes. Also,
you want that.
Leave a comment on your thoughts as we cover Pursuit's DC 306. Leave your comments on your thoughts and any questions you might have about it so that we can try to, get you more answers if you want it.
And I'm sure you're going to, so just to start with, we covered this boat and we first saw this boat in flips, right? And we tried filming it at flips, but we had some issues. We had some technical difficulties.
We technically tried filming a different boat at flips.
Was it a different boat?
Yeah.
Listen,
it was a different model.
October was so long ago.
It was Pursuit, but it was a different model. But
okay. So we filmed this boat at Palm Beach.
Yes.
So we do have a YouTube that was just released yesterday.
Right.
And you can check out the video.
Yesterday as of the day of filming, but.
Right. By the time this is released.
It's like a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a heads up.
We do have a film of this boat doing a walkthrough with Pursuit, with Mark from Pursuit.
Yep.
Very detailed video. Excellent to watch. You definitely, after you watch this or before you watch this, you might want to check out that video so you know exactly what we're talking about.
And the reason that we want to do it this way is that Mark walks you through everything in the boat and with the experience that he has with it. We're going to talk about it as far as more of the lifestyle element, which is what Southern Boating does. We want to touch on the lifestyle element of boating.
How you can use this boat, what you can do with this boat, what makes this boat so nice and neat and fun.
And with that, I kind of want to jump into it because one thing that I loved the most was the U-shaped seating that they had, right?
Right.
It was so...
Very interesting.
It was great because what you could do is you can create a very open space because the seats fold in and fold out.
You're talking about the drop-down transom seats.
Yes.
Right. And then they have two on the side by the dive doors.
Yes. And what I love about the way it's laid out is it feels like a different vessel when you have the transom seats up or down.
It does. It changes the boat quite a bit. So first off, it's a 31-foot boat.
Yeah.
So it's not small. It's not big. It's the right size. I like a 30-foot boat.
Yeah.
Let's face it. It gives you a lot of optionality, but also gives you plenty of space, as well as being a boat that's easy to captain yourself. And then, but you're correct. So when the seats are up, you got a lot of walking around space on the aft deck, right?
Yes. And which is great. Which is great if you're out there fishing. You want that space. You want access to the live well. You want access to all of the storage that is there.
Correct.
It feels like the right amount of space.
Right. And then when you drop these seats down, because they have one port side, they have one starboard side, and then the one on the transom, makes it a very nice sitting area. And also, it doesn't cramp that space.
Right.
But then when they go up, you get a ton of space.
Yes. And once the seats are down, it literally feels like it's meant to be a cozy environment for family and friends.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like the entire energy of the boat shifts from like, I'm here to catch a big fish to I'm here to enjoy time with my family. So if you're looking at a dual console and you want to use it for fishing, but your wife is also saying, hey, it better be something that we can use with the family too. Honestly, this boat will check all the boxes.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's very well appointed. It's used for everything. From fishing to going out to the sandbar to cruising. I mean, you really can't beat this boat. It's well-rounded. It was based off of, I think, one of their other models, the DC 296, I want to say.
I would not know that answer.
So I did read it on their website. But it's just a bigger, expanded version with new features. It's, so it's taking something that was already great and making it much, much better. The way that it's power equipped, all of the features on this boat, just make it really, really well-rounded for whatever you want to do. So making it a family boat, absolutely. And there's no doubt about that.
The way they were creative about using the space. So for example, the wet bar and the fact that they made such a big sink in the wet bar area where you
can actually wash dishes in it.
Right.
It's nice deep sink.
In the video, if you go watch the Pursuit video that's on our YouTube, Mark shows, he puts his hands into the sink. He goes, you could wash a whole, he's a big guy. His hands they're much bigger than mine. And he had both hands in like it was nobody's business. I was like, that's a huge sink for, the space that you would think is like, oh, it's probably going to be a small. No.
Absolutely.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. And then just in general, all the way around, working forward, the helm on this boat, excellent, nice, very well put together.
Yes.
The way that it's,
the amount of viewing space. I'm having a day today, right? I have a day every time we film. It's like you intentionally try to film, so we schedule.
I put the hex on you.
Yeah, you must have. We schedule these podcasts. Let me tell you, we schedule them right. They're on the calendar, and then James will come back and be like, "Oh, hey, I need to do this today, so let's reschedule." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Why? Because I'm trying to make his life easy. You heard me say that earlier. Check this out, though. Every time we film, I'm like, "Oh man, I'm forgetting this. Oh man, it makes it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm actually really, really good at this. Anyway, when you're sitting at the helm or standing at the helm, they created with the fiberglass and the windows and everything, a solid piece that allows you to look out a full 360 degree view.
So there's nothing impeding your view.
It's impeccable. It is impeccable.
And it's very interesting because Mark's a tall guy, right?
Yeah.
Mark was taller than me, taller than you. So he brought up a good point as in to, sometimes your view is obstructed from certain things. So the way that they design this is for somebody that's tall, their view does not get obstructed by the hardtop, which is very interesting because if we take you in another boat, you'll know exactly what he's talking about. When you look around, all of a sudden you start to see some structure and it's like in a car, it creates blind spots. And this is the last thing you want because then you're really not as safe as you possibly can be. Right. And things can happen fast out on the water. Because you never know. It's not like driving on the road where we have rules all the time. Yes, there's rules and there's laws, but it's not the same. So again, having as much in your vision as possible without it being obstructive is a huge safety aspect.
Absolutely.
And I love that fact that they went ahead and made some tweaks so that you have, for a tall guy, excellent vision. And for the short guy, they help you too, because it does have a platform to actually, so that short guy can see over.
Pursuit loves their customers. That's really what I take from all of the elements that they put into things. They love their customers. So if you want more specs, more details, you can obviously go to their website, which I'll have a link in the description. But also, make sure you watch that video that where Mark does the full walkthrough for you because
It's a great video.
yeah,
Great boat.
He
And
really
then while
gets
we
some
were
details.
filming this too, we had a little celebrity walk past us that was interested in our pursuit.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, I won't drop any
I was
names.
gonna say we shouldn't drop a name, but
he was there. He was there ahead of the show, and before hours.
Yeah.
And a very, very, very famous celebrity in the football world.
Yes.
And he was heavily looking at a pursuit because he's a known fisherman. He just moved to Palm Beach County, I believe. And, I'd love to see him in a pursuit.
yeah, same.
I think he would love to see himself in a pursuit too.
I think so too. Yeah. Hopefully that works out. Yeah. Yep. So next topic of discussion is from our April issue, which is the Bahamas issue.
Yes.
It's our do-it-yourself column.
Yeah.
Titled, I'm not gonna lie, I love this title. Titled, How Not to Feel Fuelish.
Right. And it's all about fuel. And what goes into... So let's face it, it's in April because it's an issue with crossing over to the Bahamas, right? So when you're going over to the Bahamas, you want to make sure that you've gone down your checklist and checked everything. So what's one of the major things that we look at before we cross is our fuel. Make sure that we have clean fuel. Make sure that our tanks are topped off. Having clean fuel is very, very, very important because here in the States, we're very used to getting clean fuel, especially, what happens in a boat many a times is there's a couple of things. Number one is getting water in your fuel, right? Very, very bad. And because most of us run Rec 90, which has no ethanol in the fuel, the water in your fuel can have a much larger impact because there's no ethanol to dilute and mix with the water to help, those instances.
Right.
So what you have many a times is a fuel system that monitors the water in the fuel, and that is a help. But also the other fact to it is if your boat's a little older or you've been running it for a long time, is sludge possibly in the bottom of your fuel tank. And this is a huge issue because on a boat, in a car, it's not a big deal. On a boat, it's a much larger deal because safety is a little different. But also, as you're going through seas, so if the wind's coming out of the north and you're crossing, it makes the seas very, very rough. And you get a lot of waves, right, when the wind's coming out of the north. So before you're going over, you always check the weather. I prefer not to cross as the wind's coming out of the north because it makes for a much rougher ride. So you usually want to wait until the winds switch to coming around out of the south. So the seas kind of die down a little bit. You not too many waves. And usually it takes, even if they switch, you don't want to go that day. You usually want to wait a day. So
because you still want the seas to
die down a little bit. So it's more of a comfort thing. Right?
Yeah,
Plenty of people will cross no matter what.
You have to take into account how comfortable you feel captaining your vessel across those waves, right?
Correct. But the big thing with this is if you do have sludge in the bottom of your tank and you're going across in rough seas, well, it's going to mix all that up.
Right.
And then what happens is then you're dependent upon going across and that your fuel...
I was going to say, if it clogs your fuel filters or your fuel lines...
Absolutely correct. So having a clogged fuel filter can cut off your fuel supply to your engines, and that can become a problem. They'll get bogged down. They might even completely shut off. And that would lead to a hard problem. So what this article goes over is all of the things with fuel, how to check for them, make sure that when you're crossing, you're doing the proper procedures. So checking that you have extra fuel filters in case you do run into this problem. Making sure that you know how to check for water in your fuel. So that is on gasoline, pulling off the fuel filters, emptying them out, and looking what's in them. Is there too much sludge? Maybe putting a fresh fuel filter back. Is there water in that fuel when you pour it out? Because fuel and water do not mix. Right. So you'll see it plain as day when you empty it into many times what we've done in the past is empty it into a big clear cup or a bucket or anything along those lines. So I can then
what's in there, how the quality of the fuel.
Right.
And then also there's little tips in here that I think a lot of people forget. For example, when you replace the filter, you want to slowly add fuel to it because of how much time it takes for the filter to absorb the fuel, right? So it's a little bit of a process where you want to take your time, make sure you're doing it right. You don't want to rush through it. This isn't something that you do last minute, like on your way out. This is something that you do planned. You plan this and you do it properly because you do not want to get stranded in the middle of the Gulf Stream.
And one of the things that I've always seen, and you've heard me talk about this before when we were at IBEX this year, when we heard the new product for the Sniff-A-Fuel, which goes on the outside of your fuel filter, which is really cool.
It was a really cool product, yeah.
Because no longer do you have to incorporate this whole new system and, you know, change a lot of parts. Now you can just incorporate this on your current system, which was really neat. But I always recommend that you have a system that monitors or alerts you of having water in your fuel. Last thing you want to do is be caught in the Gulf Stream and be shut down for an extended period of time while you make changes, because then you can get far off of course, right? And then you have to, you know, plan for that. And in the worst case scenarios that you don't bring all of these things that we recommend bringing, extra fuel filters and so forth, and then you're in a real bad situation.
Yeah. And then another thing that the article covers is, for example, the gauge, the vacuum gauge.
So a vacuum pressure gauge.
Right, yes. A vacuum pressure gauge, because that'll also help you identify whether there is maybe sludge buildup, and you can go in and immediately take care of the issue. If you're noticing, okay, this is headed, you know, the pressure is much higher than it needs to be because it's struggling to get fuel through the filter because there's sludge buildup. So you can go in and then you can follow the steps to make sure that you're either doing it yourself or you've hired a mechanic and you tell them what you're seeing. And it makes their life easier, makes their job easier, and it gets, you know, the boat back in your possession faster.
Yeah. Right? So I'll go over two things. The article covers both regular gasoline and diesel.
Correct.
Right? And the two ways to monitor it on those systems. Obviously, we talked about the vacuum gauge, right?
Yes.
And that's extremely important. So that's one of the things. But also it talks about, don't be afraid to hire the mechanic to teach you how to do this.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And any marine-based mechanic is going to be happy to teach you about this because it's a safety aspect.
Exactly.
I would definitely, if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself the first time through, hire the mechanic to show you how to do this. It will help you. It can save you from, you know, something very bad.
And the truth is, it's not extremely challenging.
Not at all.
Especially if you're watching somebody walk you through it, you will feel very comfortable very quickly.
The common thing that when I teach some of my friends about how to monitor some of these things is they go, wow, it's that easy? And it's like, yeah, it's actually that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like when I first learned how to change oil in a car, I was like, oh, okay.
It's that easy.
I was like, why am I paying someone so much money? For convenience, that's why. But
absolutely. So please, for your own safety, for our safety, for everybody's safety, we always love safety here at Southern Boating. Read this article. Yes. Maybe you already know. Maybe you don't know. And if you already know, teach a friend that doesn't know. Yeah. Let's all work on being safe.
Let's all work on improving our skill set and helping those around us improve their skill set so the boating community stays safe.
Absolutely. So on to the next one. My favorite. Always going to be my favorite. I was excited that we posted this and published this article. It's something that I've enjoyed over the years, ever since I was in college and I played collegiate golf.
And for the record, just so that it's out in the public sphere, James promised to take me to one of these places and teach me how to golf here in the Bahamas. Okay, so that was that happened. He just doesn't remember. But
I have no recollection of such events. Yeah, I have no recollection of such events. My typical go-to. I have no recollection.
I do not recall.
Yeah. So the article is titled Tea Time in the Bahamas. It has a couple of courses in here. Playing in the Bahamas. Number one, golf courses. If you don't know, I'll help you know. Golf and building a golf course takes considerable amount of space. We're talking for a small golf course of 18 holes, 100 acres. For a good golf course, 150 acres. And in the Bahamas and their islands, well, space is not easily come by.
Space is a premium.
So a lot of these golf courses in the Bahamas play some interesting tricks. For instance, there'll be 9 holes. You can play them in reverse. There's a course in here that actually does that, and it's very interesting. Gives you a completely different view of the golf course. You really don't even, in an aspect, kind of know because it's so different. Did you reverse course on a golf course?
Right. And real quick, so the article covers
and stuff.
The golf courses are found on the 3 main islands.
Correct.
And the article covers, I don't know if these are the only 6.
Grand Bahama No, they're not.
I was gonna say there's more,
than
right?
that. Yes, but
we
these are
cover,
the main ones.
We cover the 6 that I think, because there's some here that have a marina nearby that can fit, 115-foot yachts. Some that have space for like over
300,
up to 300 feet yacht. Right. So this is depending on where you are. There's different marinas nearby or within. It's like the Grand Lucayan Resort. I think
they have their own marina.
Their own marina. Yeah. So there's a lot of options as far as where you want to go for golfing.
Absolutely.
And this article really kind of opens up those options to your awareness.
Right. So the first one on here is Fortune Hills Golf and Country Club. And the first 2 are actually in Grand Bahama, which is about 80 miles from West Palm Beach. Very easy to get to. We got some fast boats that even go to Freeport. So if you don't have a boat, there's still ways to go over there. From flying to the Fast Cats to many different ways.
Yeah.
So Fortune Hills is a 9-hole golf course. It is actually designed by one of my favorite golf course architects. And that's mainly because I spend a lot of time in South Florida, and I'm really a South Floridian. I've lived in other places, but majority of my life I've been here. So it is a Joe Lee golf course. I was a club pro at a Joe Lee golf course, Bonaventure Country Club. And his designers, I play his golf course on a weekend basis up in Palm Beach County now, at Palm Beach National. I just love the way he designs golf courses. It's a beautiful golf course. You get some great views off of this golf course. And it's interesting because it's 9 holes and then you go play it in reverse. And you get a whole different aspect of the golf course playing it in reverse.
Yeah, I thought that was
And by
really
reverse,
creative.
I mean that there are changes in tees and greens and which ones you go to, and it's very interesting.
Right.
But it's a way for them to get 18 out of a 9-hole golf course and offer a different view from it. So it's really interesting. The next one would be the Reef Course at Grand Lucayan Resort. That's Robert Trent Jones. Love Robert Trent Jones as well. Not as favorite as Joe Lee, but builds great golf courses.
That's just a personal preference.
That's my preference. Again, exactly. I've got stuff I like and don't like, and stuff that what we call in golf fits my game.
Yeah.
And that's a fun golf course to go to as well. I've seen it. I have not had a chance to play this one, but one day I probably will, because I'm always thirsty to go play golf. And anytime I can go to the Bahamas, and here, I'm happy.
Here I see they can handle 175 feet. I think I said 115 earlier.
Yeah.
175 feet.
So
yachts.
And then the next one.
Well, I mean, we don't. To be honest, we don't have time to go over all of them, right?
But there's some in here that are great. I'll highlight 2 of them. So the Sandals at Emerald Bay.
Yes.
Right, which used to be Four Seasons.
Correct.
That's a golf course I highly recommend. If you're in Eleuthera, you got to go see. You got to go play if you can. Unbelievable views on this golf course. Just immaculate, gorgeous. The other one that we're all aware with, we see it on TV.
I was say the Tiger Woods one.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, Albany.
Okay. Yeah.
So Albany used to be a private course. It's open to the public now. Currently owned by Tiger Woods, Justin Timberlake, and I think one other person.
I think so.
A beautiful golf course. We see it at the Hero World Challenge on the PGA Tour. 5 par 3s, 5 par 5s, so an interesting layout. Very, very gorgeous golf course. Very, very challenging too. But the one that I'm most interested to actually go get on is
which one?
Bahamar.
Okay, I thought
the Royal Blue.
I was gonna say I thought it was Atlantis Ocean Club.
No, I played it. Been there, done that.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, so the reason I like that one is because they used it for Casino Royale.
Yes.
Right? With James Bond.
Yes.
And I think we've talked about James Bond on the podcast previously too.
We did.
Yeah.
Grotto Bay.
That's what it was. Yep.
Grotto Cave.
Grotto Cave. Yeah. So this was done with Daniel Craig's, Casino Royale. So now I have a reason to
go.
Well, no, I always have a reason to go, but now I have a place that I want to go to specifically, just to be like, hey, look where I am. But I digress.
That's a gorgeous too. I've played it. Very beautiful, very stunning. I mean, anytime that I can play golf in the islands and enjoy the coastal views, dude, it doesn't get much better. It's like my time I told you I've played Pebble Beach. I played horrible because all I did was daydream looking into the ocean.
Yeah.
Like quite literally daydreamed the entire round, just off in La La Land, staring at the ocean.
That's funny.
Could not focus on my game. played horrible. I won't embarrass everybody when I play horrible and I shoot in the low 80s. People will get upset because that's a great round. And I'm like, horrible.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, you have an advantage there as far as being great. So
right. The one I want to do
Bahamas,
highlight
right?
is the golf course at Bahamas, Royal Blue. Absolutely stunning. Designed by Jack Nicklaus. I am thirsty to go play it. So if you guys are watching over there at Bahamas, feel free to invite me. I'd be more than happy to go over and take a look at the golf course.
You know what we could do? If you're listening, check this out.
Podcast.
We could
on the
go
golf course.
do a podcast and you teach me so we can get a video of you teaching me how to play.
Now we're talking.
Hey, come on. That's some good coverage.
Absolutely.
That's some good coverage.
Absolutely. So if you're listening,
we need to send them this podcast.
Oh, I definitely will. But yes, it's a Jack Nicklaus golf course. I love Jack Nicklaus designs.
And
they're
that's
very challenging,
that's one of the
difficult.
The few names I recognize in golf.
Yeah.
Right? That and Sam Sneed. Is it Sam Sneed?
Sam Sneed. Is that because of your last name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a surprise.
Also,
do you know where Sam Sneed's actually from?
He lived in Southern California when I was out there.
And he also has lived in Texas.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
So you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot
there.
of connections, except the letter A in his last name.
Yeah, well, you can change yours.
Guys, we are having some technical difficulties, so we're
back.
We're back, yeah. But I don't know where our last conversation ended and where we're picking this one up.
So we can just pick up with Royal Blue.
Royal Blue Bahama Mar. You want to go?
I want to go.
You want to teach me? Yeah,
I'd be willing to do a podcast from the golf course.
Right, me too.
And review the golf course too.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Besides we love going over to the Bahamas.
And then Sam Sneed. We talked about Sam Sneed.
We talked about Sam Sneed. Yep. Because you got the same name.
Yep.
Even though it's spelled different.
Yep.
It's same but different.
Same but different.
Same but different.
Yeah. That's like a meme within like the young. Never mind.
Yeah. I wouldn't understand that.
Yeah, same but different. Yeah, don't worry.
I know same but different, but I didn't know same but different.
Oh, it's like the same, but it's different. It's like something that's the same, but it's different, but you don't say it's. No. You don't say, well, whatever. It doesn't matter, really.
Care. We're good.
Sweet. So these are the 3 articles that we covevered today.
So these are the 3 articles. We talked about the golf course. Yeah, we talked about Royal Blue. It's Jack Nicklaus design. We talked about Albany. Albany's famous because of the Hero World Challenge. Tiger Woods, Justin Timberlake on it.
Yeah, Atlantic Ocean Club.
Listen. It's golf in the Bahamas. Yeah. You cannot go wrong with playing golf in the Bahamas. It's a beautiful place. You get some ocean views while playing golf. You can't beat it. It's a good time. Help you relax.
Real quick, if you're out there and you teach golf and you want to beat him at teaching me, because we've been talking about that for a year, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram or by email, ian@southernboating.com. And if you reach out to me before he gives me a lesson, I'm going to find a way to get you a gift. I don't know what it'll be, but I'll find a way to get you a gift.
Do you think you can beat me in golf?
No.
Why not?
Because you were a pro. You are technically a pro.
That doesn't mean you can't beat me.
I've literally swung the club like 5 times in my life.
Well, get
and only 4 of those was at a golf ball.
I don't practice anymore. So you get to practicing and maybe you can beat me.
Well, maybe teach me.
Fair.
Anyway, okay.
Well, I'm not going to teach you to beat me. Why would I do that?
No, you're going to teach me to play. I'm just going to beat you because I now know how to play.
Well, you'll know how to practice.
Yeah, that's fair. But you know me, I go
take it to the next level.
Yeah, I take it to the next level when I learn things.
I like competition, you know.
Yeah.
That.
No, I know. Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I know.
All right. Well, I'm James Anderson.
I'm Ian Sneed, or so they tell me. Yeah, I know. I wanted to throw something in to throw you off.
Obviously, we like to have a good time doing our podcast, but make sure that you come back, check us out once again. We'll have some new topics to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited for next week's episode, which, we still have to record it, but we have some great topics coming up. If you haven't subscribed, remember to do that now. Please share this with someone that you think would enjoy it. If maybe not for the content, at least for the banter.
Yeah, we got a lot of banter between us. That's
yes,
for sure.
We do.
All right. Well, check us out next week. Thank you for tuning in.
Wow, you got through that really well.
I'm focused today.
Yeah, it looks like.
Well, I've got a short day. My whole week has just been ruined.
Did you put your phone on Do Not Disturb?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe not. Probably not.
It's okay. If we hear buzzing, we'll just act like it doesn't exist.
No.
Do I look sexy in the camera? I don't know yet.
I'm not going to answer that.
What? You're not going to tell me I look sexy?
You're handsome.
I'll take it. All right. You ready to get started?
Yep.
All right. Let's do this.
I look good?
No.
I look red.
Yes.
I'm always red.
Exactly.
Don't use that as an out clip.
I'll do it, but I'll bleep out what you said. Even though it's not bad, but I'll bleep it out and then please don't use that as an out clip. I don't know. I feel like if people heard you say that, they'd be like, "Oh, he."
I do.
I know. There's nothing wrong with that.
And sometimes I honestly mean because I need a lot of help sometimes.
Well, let's face it. No one's perfect.
Are you American? Actually, bad. Nope. Don't. Nope. Don't.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.